Hello, Polytopians. The Polytopia World Championship face-off is now done, and we know the 6 players heading to the grand final in Stockholm. Today, we're showing you the best matches from the face-off, the biggest plays, the closest turns, and the moment that decides who advances. This is Polytopia at its most intense. And of course, we'll be speculating along the way. Who looks strongest, who has momentum, and who might shock everyone and take the crown. All the details are in the description below. Let's jump in.
Hello everyone, welcome to Polytopia, MujiTube here, or Ghetto Azul if you prefer. Today we've got something really special for you, the last stream before the World Champions final. I will be going through the face-off games. The face-off took place 1 week ago. Yeah, exactly. In that time it was already the games were going. So we will go through all the games of the people that qualified, the best games that we think were played during this semi-final tournament. And today, 2 fantastic players with me. Let me add them to the stream. First is Tolbby. You know him from his Sunday live streams. Very good content. Subscribe to his channel. The link is in the description. Hi, Tolbby.
Hello.
And the second guest is Mr. Blueberry Cheesecake. We haven't seen him for a while on the Polytopia main YouTube channel, but he's back. He is also a YouTuber and is posting interesting Polytopia content. So yeah, and he's also a really good player. He almost qualified with Wenger. If not for the bad spawn with Austria, maybe he would have been the in this face-off. But unfortunately, bad luck, and he's here with us. Yeah. So hi, Blueberry.
Hi, that was a very long intro.
Yeah, yeah, and sub and like his content. I will put the link in the description in a moment, and we'll also put the links in the chat. So go ahead and click on them. Yeah. So let's jump into the games. Let's roll the tape. So who will be the first player that will be showing, guys?
All right. So we know all of our people playing each of the tribes. The first match we're going to be reviewing is between Yeti Peaks, who's representing IMO, and Dreamlander, who is representing Omaji. So we've got a very passive tribe that likes to go slow and steady and then snowball out of control thanks to philosophy versus our good old Omaji that is the originator of the Rider Rush strats. Good old Omaji. Whoa.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I don't like listening to myself like that. So,
yeah, sorry for that.
Blueberry. So,
I don't know how this happened, but
this
yeah.
is going to be on the lakes map. Blueberry, what are we looking at here?
We're looking at 2 very different tribes here, and if you can turn off the fog for a second, we will see...
Boom.
There you go. We will see one tile in particular. What are you looking at?
Are we talking about this potential bridge all the way over here?
Yep, that will be the most important tile of this match.
All right, we're going to just draw that, and then... boom, put that back in there. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. I wish I could actually just move the camera and leave the bridge there. But that is going to be very important. However, we have a bit of vision of potential lake right over here, whereas this is either a small pond. But as we know from revealing the fog, we've actually got a bit of a river right over here. We're going to go ahead and just redraw that there. So we've got a bit of a river that's going to be separating the 2. So it is going to be a lake map. Unfortunately, it's singular, not plural. Not my favorite when it comes to that. But The map is also encouraging our Umaji player to be heading away from our IMO player, which is going to be benefiting IMO a lot here, giving them a lot of time. Overall, it looks like it's going to be an absolute advantage, potentially, for IMO. They also already have naval access. It's just, everything's kind of written down there that this is going to be an easy game for IMO.
It looks good for them.
It absolutely does. However, y'all saw on the intro screen, we don't know if this is a game that Umaji won. It's not guaranteed or not. If you watch the face-off live, you will already know. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the other interesting thing is now we're no longer having mirrored tribe matchups. So instead of seeing tribes play 100% a specific way, players may end up starting to alter their strategies, understanding that, hey, IMO may want to consider going defenders in order to help counteract the riders, because Umaji has troubles picking up archery due to having no hunting grounds. And look at that explorer exploring all the way down here, not finding the enemy, but this information is vital for the success of the players.
This really informs Umaji that the water is the way to go.
Sorry to interrupt you, Tolbby. We can't hear the sounds of the game. Could you, do something, maybe?
All right, the only thing I'd be doing is stopping this. I'm just gonna click that. All right. I think you may have accidentally muted the thing in the Discord. Go ahead and open it back up, and we should have the audio running now.
So disconnect and connect again, or?
On the, just make sure you're not muted on, you're not deafened on Discord. I closed the stream for the audio and reopened it for the audio, so.
Okay.
All right. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead, while we're getting the audio fixed, we're going to turn shared fog back on one last time. So even though we have just revealed it, look at this. this
Big landmass for IMO here, but
one,
it's very stretched out.
3. Yes, he has to go all the way out this way in order to be picking up those 3. However, including this village that's going to be hidden in the fog over here, that's 6. That is 6 villages for the Grand Bazaar. Whereas Umaji, again, he's already got this rider primed to head all the way over here. Heck, if he picks up roads, he could even build a bridge here and sneak a faster pickup on this one here and at least turn it into a 5 versus 5 city game. Gato, are we doing a lot better now?
Okay, yeah. Could we play the game? No, I can't hear. I can't hear you. The game, no. Maybe we should connect.
We're gonna try one more time. Blueberry, are you able to hear the audio in the game?
Yeah, I can.
All right, make sure that you have the game open in Discord, please.
Yeah. Could we? Yeah. No, it's fine.
Much better.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and turn it back to turn 4. We're gonna turn off that shared fog, so that way we can get that Explorer rolling and see it directly from Yeti's point of view. Unfortunately, it completely misses the lighthouse and gets the one all the way in the south. So not the end of the world. We will be able to pick up the lighthouse in the west. Just keep your eye on this rider. The one important thing about this rider is to be able to get to this village before Yeti can even consider it. Look at that Explorer picking up fish.
Lovely Explorer.
And again, now he knows that he should be racing straight for that village. He can go backwards if he really wants to. Look at this. 1, 2, and then if he gets a bridge, just 3 turns to pick up that village. That is really important to rush on over there.
But it also shows that if Omaji can get a hold of that village between Imo and themselves with a bridge, you know, that would be detrimental. But doesn't decide to go for that play.
Both players are setting up. Instead, I think he counted. So he's got 1, 2, 3 turns, and then he'll be able to go 1, 2, 3. So he'll be able to make it there, but it'll be a little bit dangerous. And look at that. The Mindbender is, in fact, now heading to the west to pick up the Ruin. And that's, in fact, going to be able to buy him the turn he's going to be that village safe and sound. Oh, look at that! An Explorer Ruin! That's going to be getting him the Eye of God. That's a free 3 population.
Full vision on the entire map as well.
Just about. Just a couple of clouds, but
That's all he needs.
Little Raid never scared nobody. Spark of Fortune is going down, getting ourselves with the Eye of God, a second giant. Look at this explosive turn.
Giants.
19 to 15 stars. The strong, more focused economic plan of Omaji really showing off here. Interesting. Yeti, in fact, chooses to go with stars instead of a wall.
Interesting choice.
What's your take on that?
Yeah, I was wondering about that when I was watching this game. I really thought that, especially with the way that this game is set up with, you know, potential for a bridge and that being a river and not an actual lake, it would really be very useful to go with a wall to provide extra value.
Yeah, if we just draw where the capitals are, go to the middle ground, and draw a line to distribute the map, this city right here is very vital. A wall would be essential for defending it and buying time, especially with what is going on right now. Look at this. 2 juggernauts. They're absolutely not afraid at all what is about to happen. He's going to be picking up these potentially scouts here, or bring it back. Oh, never mind. It's just going to get absolutely bopped by the giant. Trying to use the juggernauts to bait out the giant.
Trade.
And there's the first bomber. So this tile right here, absolutely sequestered off, unable to defend anymore. That's a Houdini!
Goodbye, giant. Hello, other giant. Risky plays. Get punished.
Bombers be moving forward, and at this point, despite having easy water access, especially with this raft now here, this tile is no longer safe. So we actually need to be building a new port a little bit safer in the north, because watch what's going to happen next turn. I haven't seen this game, but I can already tell you what's going on. We have fights going off in the west, but there's the bomber absolutely preventing even more naval access.
But it will get sniped down, though.
He's going to secure that kill. We've got a siege heading off in the west. This smaller village that actually should have easily gone off to Imo. We've got the Grand Bazaar being built up of 3 pops. We've got the Gate of Power, another 3 pops. Picks up hunting, picks up forestry, and manages to defend.
We see some archer value here against these bombers. Really nice. So much cheaper.
3 stars, destroying at least 17 stars worth of value. I will make that trade every single time. Unfortunately, once the bombers hits a critical mass, there's not real much else you could do. But look at this. We've got defenders now on the water. They're going to be able to 1, 2, 3 start making a mad dash right over there. Vision. With that, all he's going to have to do is be able to train up some archers. 1 over here, start training them in that central village. And look at that. These archers are going to be going straight down and trying to slowly kill off these bombers in 2 turns. That's 6 stars for 17. Again, excellent value going on. Speaking of value, look at this. IMO, market number 1, market number 2, market number 3. IMO's investing in the late game.
Low level at the moment.
With that, all of this firepower going on, slowly pushing on for that river. The bridge, absolutely, now getting placed down.
Not the way we were expecting it to go, but that bridge is definitely helping IMO currently.
We're going to have to keep our eye over here onto the east. This giant is ready to just walk right on in. Do we have enough? He's going to pick up farming. If he's not careful, though, he's got to get those farms this turn. Sure, he's going to let him know he's going to be getting a giant, but if his opponent's smart, he's going to block.
Uh-oh. Double siege.
That's the double siege, and with that, that is the game. So, Yeti peaks, playing this very smart, losing the race. Omaji doing everything that needed to be done. Look at this. It wasn't even the 6-4. It was the complete opposite side around. Omaji stuck with 4 cities.
Yeah, and they managed to pull this off. Yeah.
They managed to pull this off, getting beautiful trades, archers killing the bombers, juggernauts forcing their way onto the water. And at that point, despite having such a stronger Navy, that's the game.
Navy does not always win the game.
All right, so what could have been done a little bit differently over here? Probably when we're looking at getting the bombers in the siege.
Yeah, they were very expensive. I mean, they were also very accessible by archers, and especially with IMO, a tribe that is very much known for getting all kinds of technologies. These spots are really not that safe for these bombers.
Right over here. So anything, archers can slowly ping off any of these spots right over here. Sure, it'd be real slow, but it will happen very slowly over time. So these bombers need to be parking themselves right over here, and anything on these tiles, the X's, you've got to get those rammers down, because rammers take no damage from the archers, and they just laugh it off. Unfortunately, looks like Omaji got a little bit too ambitious, and sure, they were trying to finish and secure the game by getting that city and then distracting over here, but they lost the tempo in almost every direction. This giant made an absolute presence over here. And look at this. Even though it's not going to be able to siege, but we have zone of control. Maybe we can start sneaking some archers through. But we've got archers. We've got mindbenders. As soon as that mindbender parks himself right over here onto this tile, that's it. You're not going to be able to defend this city all the way over here in the west. Very beautifully trade. An excellent display of an Omaji versus IMO game. I was actually expecting Omaji to apply so much pressure that IMO wouldn't have been able to catch up.
And that brings me back to the early game where I talked about this bridge play here. If we see that bridge, especially after these couple of turns here, even earlier on, we may have just seen that one village in the center being into Omaji's hands. If Omaji did not go for fishing here, we may have seen that happening. That would be a very different game.
Yeah, picking up fishing over here on turn 5, considering with the vision that they had, so
you can see that there is a spot to place that bridge right in the center.
There. And especially with that vision we had from the scout, we already know that the line is right here. Yeah, a bridge right here would have made a really big difference. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen the pressure, because if we also uncover the fog, if we just decided to save for one turn later, get ourselves the roads, and then start rushing some riders forward. Actually, I'm pretty certain that this warrior would have been able to land himself and keep that village.
Yeah, right. Would have been a risky play, but it would have been paid off.
It definitely would have been a completely different game. However, there's a reason why I'm not in the World Championship. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game.
Yeah, so before we move on to the next game, I just wanted to make a small announcement. So the tickets for the final are still available. So if you want to be there in Stockholm, cheering and supporting your players, go ahead to polytopia.confetti.events. The link is also in the chat, and get those last tickets for the final.
Alrighty, you heard it there. It's still not too late to see the finals live in Stockholm, so make sure to get those tickets now.
Not only will you be seeing all of these very good players, you will also be seeing I Know Funny.
Yeah,
That's the rewards all on itself.
Yeah, and E-Spark, this is like they are the stars of this tournament. So yeah, and I mean like the commentators, so like the stars. Obviously the players are the stars, but could I do one little test before we go to this game? This is what I wanted to show you before we jump into the this next game. So apparently this IMO versus Omagi was the first round. So as you see, Dreamlander actually lost this matchup, and it wasn't a good start for him, but then he recovered and beat Yadak in the round 2 in the losers brackets, and a huge win for Omagi, 2-1 versus Zebasi. Justini got eliminated in this matchup. Very extreme surprise, because a lot of people were betting Justini will be the one to qualify. We even discussed that before the stream, right, guys? You were betting Zebasi to qualify, not Omagi.
I was betting Justini. It didn't matter which one he got into.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that he was going to be able to make it, but I saw the maps he ended up playing on his channel, and those were some really rough games, and definitely not due to his part, but those were just rough games in general for him to play. So,
definitely.
But anyway,
the last one,
sorry,
really rough. That was really unplayable from his side. Getting just destroyed on really just turn 5 or something, just because of luck.
Yeah, but anyway, going back to Dreamlander, so his way to Stockholm was quite rough. First loss against Yeti Peaks, then it was 2-1. So also 3-gamer and another 3-gamer in the final, and he qualified, beating Justini in the final of the face-off. Okay, so let's move on to the next game. Who's playing here?
all right. So right over here, we're having Chapo, the skin for Shinshi, playing against the Ram Digler, the one and only. Definitely check out his YouTube channel if you haven't seen it already. He's also got amazing content playing as Ragu, the skinned version of Kiku. So we're going to be having a naval tribe versus a mountain tribe, which is really interesting because when you think about it, it's two completely polar opposites. One is going to be trying to rush onto the water. However, unfortunately, right over here, in typical Kiku fashion, we've got our little pond. And not a single drop of water is in sight. So we're going to have to fight it ourselves. Whereas right over here, for Chapo, we've got heading over here into the south one tile will pick up a lighthouse, something to consider later down the road. We've got excellent way of getting vision here into the east, and then a natural path over here into the center of the map. So this is going to be a very difficult game for Ram Digler to figure out which path and direction to go for. Luckily, I might not be the best for always explaining this one, but Blueberry will be able to explain, like, oddly enough, how well Kiku can still perform on dry lands.
Yeah, I mean, being a turn 0 tribe, that is really, really useful. But if you can't make any more use out of your starting tech, I'm not sure if that is an advantage. Whereas, especially Chin-Chi here, going for mining, look at all of those ores. If I were a company, I would definitely want to mine all of those.
We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got a natural forge spot here. Heck, we could even consider a silly little border growth, but unfortunately we don't really get too much more, but so much more population. This is definitely looking like a Shinshi game based on maps, and even though I'm mentioning Kiku on dry lands, it's mostly about how well they can do, because they actually still have a pretty good resource density, typically able to pick up forestry and catapults, so they won't be one done and out. Without further ado, we're going to let them begin their games. Kiku starting off with an early workshop. And as mentioned before, there's that warrior heading straight downwards. And did he just pick up organization just to get that early level up? Or was that... Oh, it was hunting.
Yeah, there you go.
Hunting. Yeah.
Hunting for that explorer.
Let's watch that explorer find the opponent, get that lighthouse. That's another population. All he's got to do is pick up mining, and just look at the big vision difference between the two. Oh!
Ram Digler being greedy, going with that workshop, but...
Look at that absolute greed. So the interesting thing is he already knows his opponent's right over here. And because of the location of this village, his other village only can be right here in this tile. So he actually doesn't have to do a lot. The downside, though, is he now has no idea what his opponent's going to be up to.
Star Ruin.
Ooh,
Nice.
Star Ruin's going to allow
And
a
Siege.
very early game siege. Luckily, archery is picked up by both players. And oddly enough, it's still some pretty even ground. Still able to make his way all the way around.
Siege 2.
Siege number 2, Electric Boogaloo. This archer is about to be 2 of 3. Oh, wait.
Nope.
Nope.
This is not interesting. Spreading out the kills between his units. Is he going to be moving here to the north looking for a ruin? No, he's not. Quite interesting.
Going for that water. Doing what Kiku does best is going for that water.
So he does finally get that explorer, seeing it in the north, and unfortunately there's just about nothing all the way up there. It's going to be a 4-4 village game, maybe something much further off in the east.
That's
We're looking
giant.
at a land map. Oh, wait! I had missed it on the previous turn. There it is. Kiku now has not complete naval dominance.
Oh. Tolbby, what do you think about this population growth in that city? Don't you think it's better to take a border growth?
Right over here in the south, I think so, because we are looking at potential road blockage and road plays. Also a way to get onto the water right over here. So a border growth definitely would have been interesting, but I would say with the amount of archers we're already seeing, we're getting the lighthouse.
Rushing a giant against all of these archers. Is that the right play?
Yeah. Just short of 2 tiles.
A lot of wonderful trades. So he does get that giant rushed out, but I agree that he's going to move forward, and immediately we're going to just watch him go down to half health. 1. Bop. Bop. That's 34. I guess he is on a 4, so he is defended up, but
It's just a kill squad of archers.
Mathematics. So I guess we'll see some catapults.
We do have this catapult all the way over here. It is going to be a lot of pressure. I'm going to see. I was expecting it right over there, killing the unit in the north, saying, no, you're not allowed on the water. The city is pop-capped anyways. Another siege on the central city for Ram Digler.
Lots of sieges over that city, but he's been able to unsiege it every time. Apparently, we want some more giants because we are doing that.
Unfortunately, that giant push does allow a free kill against that archer.
Spiritualism, the best technology, of course.
Absolutely. That way we get that. I don't know. I can't salvage it. I was trying to get that defensive bonus for units in their territory.
Actually, if you see the later parts of this game, you may actually see some use for it.
Quite interesting.
Interestingly.
Probably to block off
Markets.
Oh, markets.
Markets already have it for one player. If we also look, Ram Digler's been doing a good job. Another siege! He's got an excellent place for a market set up over there.
Remember when that catapult hit that unit? Oh, he's gonna do it back, you know? Get him with the catapult of own.
It's quite interesting. So we have two completely different ways of playing this game. We have Le Liberator.
Le Liberateur.
Le Liberateur. He's actually constantly going with an aggressive play style, whereas Ram Digler, look at this. He's got his units placed. I keep being on the wrong tab. Our giant went over here, giants over here, which is about to unfortunately be removed off the face of the map. Boom! There it goes. But constant siege over and over and over again as he's getting the markets up, trying to get a market advantage. The biggest thing I'm worried about is look over here. We've got two units sneaking onto the water. They should be able to, one, pick up this village, get the Grand Bazaar.
Oh, nice.
Two,
nice road work.
Start setting up.
Okay, yeah.
Start setting up for bombers on the water and locking out the rest of the game.
Smithery. Making these markets even better.
Ram Digler finally picking up trade. We've got a bridge. Oh, we got a siege on the city of Lily. Thankfully, these archers are going to be able to prevent that from being locked down. But unfortunately, he's now got to find a way to get on that water. But he's still not building a port. You got to get on the water, man.
Shinji goes, water? I don't know what that is. I want the land. Going for the chivalry here.
Yeah,
the units.
He's playing the land battle.
Look,
he's not interested in navy.
I am loving this. Look at this wall of giants. He's actually using this to make his way further into the south, saying, I'm going to stay far away from the water as possible. Look how much water access there is. This river all the way over here is actually locking off potentially all of this map. So you know what's going on? There's the first night chain, but it's from Ram Digler. Kiku finally picking up sailing. The first of a couple night chains will be starting to happen. Oh, that's a siege on the capital.
Not just a siege, that is a giant, a fresh giant on your capital.
2, 3. He's going.
Can we see a Houdini here?
There it is. That's enough in order to pick it up. And he doesn't even place the monument. Unfortunately, no Houdini. But he is going to be pushing that unit off, saving his capital for yet another turn. However, the Eye of God being used in the north. Population growth pushing the swordsman off. Clean way, and yet he's not done. Another giant on the central city. A knight. And at this point, even though he's being invaded from 4 different directions, 2 of which are going straight towards the capital. Bop-a-da-bop, bop-a-da-bop. Throwing
Still
another unit.
defending it.
Bop-a-da-bop. Just
hanging
yeah.
on, but
barely
will it be
hangs
enough?
on by a thread. The Rammer! Sieging the city of Lily. And is he going to be able to unsiege? He can, but he's going to have to use all of his knights to unsiege unless he gets a giant push. The extra production, that's a 1, 2, 3. 3-night chain going on. Another siege happening in the north. That's 2 cities being sieged at once.
Bye-bye backlines. Suppose we don't use you anymore.
Ram
Yep.
Digler has no units anywhere. Where are they all going?
Right into the trash can. Trash can being all of these knights.
Again,
Barely
just
unsieging. Getting
unsieging
defenders.
everything. Defenders saying, okay, you know what? You've got a knight literally in the middle of my territory. I'll siege that with a swordsman. Nobody has any units. Where's the wall of units? They're all gone from both players. Turn 25. The Rammer. He doesn't see it coming once again.
Oh, he's
No, there's this-
dismantling.
He's
Spiritual.
getting rid of everything, saying, look, this isn't going to work out. So at this point, take my city. I'll take it back. I'm just going to fight back for it. In the next couple of turns, the Juggernaut getting onto the water, saying, I need you
Turn
to stop
26. That is the first Chinchi unit on the water.
Hammer. Starting to apply even more naval pressure. Defender completely blocking off this entire process. So this knight can only go from one other direction.
We have a wall of defenders. But wall of defenders can't really attack, so... How are we going to get back into this game?
Well, that's going to be a free siege on the northern
just
city. That's
3 kills.
3. Knight should be attacking it one more time. Never mind, it's going for the siege. 4. Bobba Bobs promotes to a veteran unit.
All of his is gone.
Another siege.
And at this point, sure, the city's being sieged one more time. Bobba Bop. You're going to seeing a 1, 2 chain.
2 chain.
And at this
Yeah.
nothing
Position.
else.
And that's the game.
That game was so back and forth, immediately diverting straight into just knight chains from both players. I would have loved to have seen after this wonderful defense that Ram Digler is putting out. He did some swordsmen. Unfortunately, those knights, the economy of the Liberateur, it's just too much economy from those markets. Not enough pressure was applied, and showing by Shinji, thanks to the new reworks, is an absolute powerhouse.
So how do you guys feel about the market meta, so to say? Is it good? Is it bad?
I find it quite interesting. We need to find out if there's any other more aggressive ways to play, because markets always punish people who play passively. However, in this case, what could have been done to apply that extra pressure to prevent the markets from building up so quickly? Because Ram Digler was doing everything that he needed to have done in this instance. He's protecting his borders. He was not overextending. It's just the siege after siege happening every turn. I think it was more of just a excellent setup, very well executed by Liberateur, and then being able to transition into the later game, despite over here by turn 22, where it was 6-4 cities. At this point, there just wasn't enough presence from Kiku. So let's just look. We have 54 stars, absolutely nowhere near Smithery. So unfortunately, that's not a realistic option here, and we need to unsiege multiple cities. So I'm assuming that everything done up to this point was absolutely correct, but at this point, we need to be finding out a more stable plan of how do we stabilize this. And defenders, unfortunately, they'll protect, but the moment that you're training a defender here in this back city, unfortunately,
they protect, but they can't attack.
you can't attack. So at this point, the game's basically over.
So do you think going more into Navy would have been a better play for Ram Digler? Because I saw his video, his recap of his performance in the face-off, and he was kind of not happy, just having one city, but in the back. So yeah, so there was a constant pressure on him from Lelib, and he couldn't actually, catch a breath and gather his forces to fight back. But it wasn't like a one-sided game, so he wasn't defending all the time. He found a ways to actually fight back against Lelib.
I think everything was done really, really well. I'm not the right one to say what should have been done differently, but I love the surprise siege that ended up happening. That's something that can throw the enemy off, and he was trying to relieve some pressure, because look at this. We got a whole bunch of low health units. We got a low health unit here, low health here. This giant, it's okay, but we got low health units here. So as long as he could stabilize, that's great. The original plan here is definitely hit, secure the siege. All right, maybe 1, 2, or 3 saying, hey, you don't have a giant here. That is an interesting play to do. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay off. So I would say this here wasn't really a misplay. It's just, unfortunately, the opponent was still able to push the...
what do you think about attacking the city of Loli? I can't see well enough. Instead of this one more to the south, because this Lili was under a constant attack, so maybe kind of pushing down further south where those cities were safe, beyond the reach of any knight or other units. Maybe this could be more beneficial for Ram Digler instead of attacking the city of Lili, where Lelib could unsiege.
I definitely would have loved to have seen scouts or even rammers trying to lock down this city, because instead of having 2 knights zipping forward every single turn, because that was the biggest issue, is one knight's not able to do much on their own, but if you have 2 knights and other low health units, one knight can get a massive chain, which is what ended up being the deciding factor. So I would have loved to have seen some pressure applied to this city over here with either rammers or scouts, which sure, it would have taken 2 turns. But once you start weakening these knights down, at this point, if you don't do anything to kill off the units here on the water, both of these cities will then be locked off, instead of having this one giant just saying, hey, I guess I'll play defense.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to have seen more pressure applied. I agree that I would have loved to see more pressure applied.
Yeah, especially with that one city that just had a catapult on it for how many turns? Maybe 10 or even 15. I'm not sure if that catapult's just standing there is the play here. We can train many more units in that city. It has a port on it. You can get there, make more units, and then pressure from the water. So maybe that would have helped.
If we were able to build up more naval dominance, because our opponent was saying that they're going to force a land battle, and unfortunately, we ended up playing straight into that land battle when we could have locked down 2 cities thanks to the Navy. So
exactly,
I think Ram, unfortunately, Ram was doing everything they needed to defend, and then they should have been investing in securing the water, which they would have absolutely had it. They just train either a scout or rammer, go here, get this ruin, and then spend another turn to get more units. Boom, you have 3, 5 units on the water. There's nothing that can be done to fight back for that.
Yeah, so so there was a strong presence of Rams fans in the chat, so they are very disappointed. Yeah, I get you guys, but we kind of, so we agree and disagree with Rams' assessment. This game could have gone differently. if he made different decisions, but it's we have to be mindful that it's that these games are played where in on timer. You
Yep.
have a certain time, and you can't just kind of consider all the best moves and then pick the best strategy against your opponent. So yeah. Okay, so let's have a look at Laliberter's way to the final. So as we can see, this game was played against Ram Digler was played in the first round. So Lelib won 2-1. Then he had a quite easy surprise win with Justini. So 2-0 to Chinchi. So a big surprise. And actually, this was the qualification for them, because in the face-off you had to win 2 rounds, and that was it. So Lalib won the first round and the second round, and I think he was, as we can see, he was the first to qualify, which is a big one, a big surprise for me. Your comments, guys?
Chinchi is not the greatest try, but apparently pretty strong and underrated. So really surprised to see him here.
I mean, I used to say Chinchi was not that great, but I definitely would say they're a lot better now than they used to be. They're giant potential followed up by immediately swordsmen, which then lines them up for a good support with archers or rush to markets. It's just they've got so many potential options nowadays. Such a strong economic start that can then snowball out of control if they're not punished enough.
Yeah, because they can go smithery, they can go mathematics, as we saw in this game, so they are quite versatile. Yeah, so okay, let's move on to the next game. So who do we have here?
So you saw
another IMO game.
We're going to be having another IMO game because Yeti puts on an excellent display. Yeti this time is going to be placed against Arthur, who's playing as Imperious. And
this is my favorite game.
Just look at the amount of...
Yeah, you'll see why in a moment.
So unfortunately, one of my favorite starts with Imperious also involves the Lighthouse, but we don't have access to that whenever you have 4+ fruits. Everyone tells me it's a bad start, and then whenever I get to do it on stream, it actually is one of the few times I actually win with something weird. But look at this. We have this vision right over here. IMO wants to go over here safely to the east or try to snag a free capture. It looks like we have so many more potentials with IMO versus this Imperious player. If you're Imperious, what are you looking for here?
Fruits are good.
Fruits are good. Alrighty. So, thank you very much, Blueberry. All right. So unfortunately, we don't have a lot of strong ideas about where to go with Imperious to find our suburbs. Of course, we want to follow the fruits. Maybe we want to go with the mountains. It's going to be a little bit tricky. Either way, whichever way you go, it's unfortunately going to be a gamble at this point. Would you be wanting to follow up with a second warrior to follow the first in case it accidentally finds the Mindbender? I guess that's a more important question.
I would definitely go with riders.
Just riders? That actually
Just
makes
riders.
sense. All right, so our typical level up, save for the riders and then spam it all out. Let's see what ends up following through. Looks like this, the Mindbender here is looking for violence, and oh my goodness.
Immediately get punished for it.
Immediately is unable to find it, spends 2 turns. That is never something you want to see. But that should be giving Yeti a lot of information. If we have these 2 animals here, and for some reason our village is not here or here or here, I'm assuming Yeti completely understands that his opponent, yes, because of this territory, is here in the western corner. And they're a lot closer than he personally would like. one important question to always be asking is, do you start off with, oh, barely because of that mountain is unable to find that lighthouse. Do you start off rushing meditation? And Yeti did in this case. But
You see the play here.
But, oh, an immediate siege!
Yeah.
Very rough. Doesn't have the units to unsiege it. So Archer just takes it.
Just steals the suburb. Bop-a-da-bop. Secures the kill. Unfortunately, that's just going to allow an uneven trade in this instance. What are you looking to do in this case? And at this moment, I always find it insanely rough. Gets his own roads to move on forward, secures the kill, bop-a-da-bop, trades to take his city back. Gets a
We have a bridge.
It says, not today. This village is
Yeah.
mine. An insane
Not gonna happen.
fast game. All right, let's dissect that turn for turn. Let's do that from Yeti's vision only. So at this point, right over here, makes a
Yeah, so he
big-
could already see now that's like the Imperious terrain.
So I was trying to get into this question is, do you pick up meditation as IMO? If you wait 5 turns, you don't have to worry about a fight. I would almost argue that, especially because of seeing this tile right here, I would assume that picking up meditation is way too greedy and you need to go with a more reliable economic start.
Yeah, I agree.
So the way I like to think about this is, with lakes, you have these quadrants on which you can spawn, right? So in this case, you occupy one of these 4 quadrants with your capital, whereas your opponent is going to take one as well. 2 out of 3 of these will be right next to you. Do you take that gamble?
Yep, and that is an excellent deduction about, is your opponent spawning next to you or not. So whenever it's not a mirror match like this one, you're able to get that kind of information.
And they had the vision, so like I'm like quite puzzled why they decided to go for this capture, because
I'm
And
gonna
here as well. Why would you take this village?
At this point, gambling, the opponent doesn't have roads. Turns out, the opponent has roads.
yeah, exactly.
So unfortunately, at this point, there's nothing you can really do at this point anymore, because from Imperious's point of view, you just train riders, and then warriors, and you just close out the game at this point. It's a 4-2 production game in the early game. Nothing you can do about it. So this was a beautiful trade, but unfortunately our opponent has roads, which allows a bridge. So that's
a quick win.
It is a very, very quick win. A very I would assume at this point that they've been playing for hours and Yeti was probably exhausted. Because that's
Yeah, we'll see in a moment their path to qualification to Stockholm. Could we actually go back a bit to this moment when Yeti captured and it was Arthur's turn to, how much stars did he have?
Yep, so if we go to we have 8, but we already have roads at this point. So when did we pick up the roads tech?
Really early on.
Very early on. Look at
Okay.
this. Riding.
So he
roads.
was
roads.
so he was kind of baiting Yeti. So yeah, he did not show any sign. Yeah, so like, the riders were a sign that, I might have roads, but Yeti decided to gamble that he doesn't. Yeah.
Yep. Goes for the capture.
I mean, you might think that with all of these forests in the way, you won't be able to get through them, but roads are a really nice way to get rid of that.
Well, roads are also a good way to improve your economy. So roads are actually just a natural path to go. Of it allows you to be aggressive. IMO is weak against aggressive tribes and strategies. So it's more of a done and done of. It makes perfect sense why not to pick up. The more argument is why are you not picking up roads?
Tolbby, could you actually show the whole map now so we can see if.
Where's the rest of the cities?
Yeah, so
There's the rest. So if the game went on long enough, IMO would have had more cities, in theory, because we have a 4 to 5 map setup. But it's
your
just
access sucks. Yeah, it's like the
look at that water access.
Yeah,
it's just so open. In this case, there's no way you're not fighting a land battle to protect your capital.
Yeah.
So Yeti made a big gamble. Unfortunately, Yeti also got lied to by the map on which way to go. It I would say both gambles of sending the Mindbender forward first didn't pay off. I would have sent it safely behind first and sent the warrior ahead this way instead. But
even with if this Mindbender moved away from the city, Arthur could have reached or no, there is a forest, so they wouldn't be able to reach.
I think the only difference would have been is during all the trades, you would have had a Mindbender here bringing your riders back and then healing it with the Mindbender. But even then, I don't think you're winning in this situation.
No, but I mean, in this specific turn, so if they moved back east, then Arthur, even with the roads, he wouldn't be able to reach this Mindbender in siege, right?
Yeah.
Because there is a forest tile there. Oh no, with the bridge they would have been able.
Yeah.
Because they could have placed the bridge and then those riders would have.
The bridge is more expensive.
Yeah, but it would have been worth it because so obviously then the Mindbender could have converted the rider if it stepped on this village. But Arthur probably would have kept attacking. Yeah, so but at least there was a chance for Yeti if he moved back east to kind of stay in this game. Yeah, but this greedy play wasn't a good idea.
I think all the greedy plays adding together ended up costing him in this one. So should have gone with the textbook.
Yeah, let's look at Arthur's path. So first round it was against Quetzali, Nanobots, easy 2-0 win. And IMO was in the second round, also easy 2-0 win. And they qualified as the third player. So I'm not sure looking at so they had a similar path as Slimming Boy, who I think we will be analyzing the game in a moment, but I think Barder and Imperious played the best, in a way. So qualified the fastest, because Chinchi at least they lost this one game against Kiko. It was a bit harder for them to qualify. Okay, let's move on. Maybe a smallish announcement before we start this game. Let me just pull this up. So if you are not going to Stockholm, but you still would like to have something that is connected with the World Championships, we encourage you to visit our souvenir shop. There will be some World Championships merch drop in a moment. So go ahead and look at what we have to offer to you. Okay, let's see the game.
All right. So our next one, the fourth game we're going to be looking at is going to be Meister Lumpa versus the one, the only Ram Digler. Once again, playing as Ragu for the Kiku tribe. This is a very interesting setup that we have between the two. It's almost a mirror, which is quite interesting for Polytopia standards. What are you looking at, Blueberry?
We are looking at water access for both of these tribes, but Kiku is kind of good at that. Whereas, Luxidor, they're kind of good at everything? Or are they?
Yeah, and they changed, yes, with the latest update, the balance pass.
Yep, so finally starting off with the level 3 cities again. Doesn't have such an overwhelming economy. In fact, they start off with only 4 stars, so that's fine. Or only 2 stars, but it's fine. They'll catch up in plenty of time. But they're able to start off with so many different strategies, able to be flexible now. So perhaps for those of you like myself that have not liked Luxador because they've been too slow in every which way, shape, and form, maybe it's time to take a look at it again.
Jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
That's very true. So let us see if Luxador has the tools needed in order to beat Kiku in this current matchup. So we're going to be starting off with getting our workshop to make our economies equal to each other. And oddly enough, they're both now at the same amount of stars. It's just Kiku has more techs already available. Luxador immediately getting the organization and fishing ready to start leveling everything up. Oh, thank goodness. The
interesting explorer here.
The explorer decides to go forward instead of backwards. I was holding my breath on it. Now that the players have met, let's turn off that shared fog. Able to find the capital, but unfortunately, that is it. And decides
another explorer.
Another one.
It's not enough. I need more.
Find the
I want the
lighthouse.
lighthouse, yeah.
The lighthouse and is now primed for a turn 5 giant. Ram Digler is going to get his own explorer off, and unfortunately, what are you doing?
That explorer is
bad luck.
That explorer immediately turns around and says, I want to go home. Tries to just go straight to the southern corner and finds that lighthouse. Unfortunately, hopefully he's been score counting to see that that score is way too big. Turn 6 Juggernaut immediately gets 7 stars. For those who don't know, that means your opponent already has at least 2,000 points in score. Turn 6. This one has no choice but to start finding those lighthouses, immediately saying, okay, that's one lighthouse, that's not good. Vision on both, that's not good. And even though he doesn't see the giant, that means the giant is already somewhere else. And it's at his doorstep. Already applying pressure. Without the use of defenders, that's already going to be a siege on that central city.
Or not.
Or he doesn't. Actually, because of the most important thing, despite us saying that, hey, you need to train units, oddly enough, training units here was going to be the wrong decision. Oh, and that explorer just barely doesn't get the vision.
Rough.
Yeah, first giant from that Ram Digler.
But it's in the wrong city. How are we going to get that to the central one?
Ram Digler getting vision in the north, finding everything that's going on. That's a siege! And the real question is what are we going to be doing in order to stop this juggernaut? He's unfortunately going to have to just give up the city. That's a lie!
Double monument for the giant push, but, we still have that other juggernaut still on the water. Says, you know what, I'll take this city instead. Sieging the other city as well. Veteran warrior. How are you going to unsiege that?
That is 2 sieges going on. If with the power of sailing, we can unsiege in the south, but I'm not seeing how we can unsiege our city over here. Juggernaut moving forward. Getting another push. Unfortunately, he's going to be losing that city for at least a turn.
Another siege.
Oof, very rough day game for Ram Digler.
2 sieges immediately happening. Oh, it's just too much pressure all over the place. The Luxador giant turn 5 rush is just too much for Kiku to deal with.
And even with 3 giants, I mean, that's just not enough. Just too little, too late.
Yeah, so what went wrong here for Ram Digler and what went right for Meister Lamp?
So unfortunately, even though there's not really much that can be done about it, is
Explorer.
right over here, this Explorer. And this is sometimes where you have to stop and ask yourself, do I need to wait a turn? Because this warrior right here, we already know is going onto this village. If it goes onto this village, boom. It's going to completely prevent that Explorer from doing exactly what it did.
And also you can shape with this one further in the north. So
Yep. The other important thing to consider is, again, this is a live game, so it's tricky to think about it this way, but we have a shoreline right here. That means this is land. That means this is another coast right here, and we don't know what's going on, but there is a good chance, just because of this setup right here, that the Explorer is going to go just straight south. The chances are very unlikely. Your mathematicians out there can pull out your calculators and go, what are the odds? But in this case, the odds are 100% because that's what happened. So ends up turning around and deciding that this is the lighthouse I'm going to focus on.
I mean, it's a 50-50, right? Because there's 2 good spots for that Explorer to go.
Oh, it's at least, I mean, depending on the odds of it, if we're looking at a lighthouse to focus on, that Explorer actually can visit all 4 of these lighthouses with its current location. Because if we go ahead and turn off the replay fog, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, able to go all the way over there. Actually, because of the fog, it couldn't. That's why I usually have fog on. So if we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, we technically can still find this lighthouse. So it is a big gamble getting Explorer here. You should always explore, but I think the correct play would have been to at least wait a turn to get a better, at least a better Explorer, and more likely to find it. Because even if it went with the most inoptimal route and went to the lighthouse in the west, it would have circled back and most likely found this warrior here and given us that start boost that we need.
Just some RNG.
That's just unfortunately very unlucky on Ram Digler's part. And after this point, I mean, what else can you do? Well, everything that is done right here is pretty much the best that can be done. He's trying to level up both of his cities right over here. The only other thing to consider at this point is to score count. We should immediately look at this and go 2,700. There is no possible way for that score to happen without the use of monuments. And we're talking about Eye of God. We're talking about the Metropolis.
Park of Fortune.
Yeah, for the Park of Fortune. I still probably would have gone with stars anyways, but we definitely should have considered walls on this city to at least buy ourselves another turn. I think what unfortunately still would have been the exact same outcome, but it would have been the Juggernaut sieging instead of a warrior, and at least less pressure on this city here, this city here, this city here.
Yeah, good point.
I don't know how we're still coming back from a turn 6 Juggernaut, though, but then we would have had our own giants here. It wouldn't have been as one-dimensional, though. So everything that was done is consider a late 1 turn later explore in city walls. That's all I can think of. You got anything better, Blueberry?
I don't see anything else. I think you really got the point. Maybe even find a way to just stop that Explorer. If you can go back to it, I'm not sure if there's any way to shape it beforehand.
On turn 4? No. Not on turn 4. That's why we would have to play it.
Yeah, you need to put down a port and pull up that water into that port. That would
right
allow
over
you
there,
to level up your cities later on as well, but I'm not sure if that's... I mean, at this point, you might need to gamble.
Yep. So, all in all,
It was a 50-50 actually on that Explorer, because that can go only two ways, either to the north or to the west, and it went the wrong direction.
the complete wrong direction.
So actually,
50-50.
in this instance, Kiku wasn't a lucky pick for Ram Digler, because if it was a regular tribe like any other, they probably wouldn't have the sailing tech, and then the Explorer would have probably gone north.
That's true. Should have delayed picking up the sailing tech.
Yeah, exactly. That was the play. Free advice, Ram Digler.
Alrighty, Gato. So go ahead. Let's show where in the...
Yes, so Meister Lumpa had a very, very rough tournament. We did not show you this game, but if you go ahead and watch the coverage of the whole face-off, you will notice that there is a very, 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 very long game at the beginning. It lasts for over 4 hours. So the Meister Lumpa against Titat. And eventually gentlemen had to agree on a draw because it was a complete stalemate. And Meister actually lost this first round, so he lost the second game against Titat. Then he had an easy win against Ram Digler, and it was the end of Ram's hopes for the final. So he beat Ram Digler 2-0, and in the final round, another rough matchup against the Yeti Peaks. So 2-1 win. And Meister qualified as the last player, and he's going to Stockholm in a few days. Okay, so let's move on to Hudrik, Mijuan's favorite tribe. Let's see how they performed. So as we know, they are like a marathon kind of runners, because Titat performed perfectly. Because not only they played very well in this game against Meister, and but you have to be mindful that Titat is from Thailand, so the time difference was very unfortunate for him, because it was like the middle of the night. So his performance, at this late in was amazing. I really. I'm amazed how well they played.
Also, considering that he played a game that lasted how many hours? 4?
Yeah, over 4.
That was incredible. It was also really enjoyable to watch the first hour of it. Afterwards, afterwards not so much anymore, but really good game to check that one out.
I have unfortunately been subject to those 2.5 hour long games and go, okay, you know what? I don't care about ELO that bad. You could just have the win. We're at a draw, but there's no way we can offer a draw. So
yeah, but after this, kind of behind the scenes note from Mijuan, he said, I think I might consider actually the adding draws to the game. So there might be an update soon, and then we'll be able to, if the players agree, we'll be able to draw.
You'll be able to spam draw
every single turn.
every turn when you're losing.
Not only am I going to be able to spam requesting an alliance with the opponent every single turn, but I will also be able to spam request draw. That is exactly what I need. All right, so
Okay, let's focus on the game. So who's playing here against Titat?
all right, so this is gonna be
Tolby's favorite tribe against Mijuan's favorite tribe. Yes.
T-Tat is Hudrick, correct?
Yes.
Secure
Yes.
Angel 14 versus Nanobots.
Is it
So-
Angel or Angle?
Yes. So, we have T-Tat versus Nanobot. We have, unfortunately, this this is not a very fun matchup from my experience. Every single time I go, I want to play a fun tribe like Quetzali, and my opponent goes, "Oh, I'll play a fun tribe too, and I'll play
The
Hudrick."
tribe that can snipe down defenders.
Yeah. How fun is that? That my starting tech counters yours. So, in other words, this is going to be an uphill battle for Quetzali. Quetzali's got excellent resources over here. Potential village here, potential village here. Maybe a potential village here, but since there's no fish, maybe not. We're just going to put a question mark right over there. Whereas Hudrick definitely can head over here to the center, can head over here. And the other interesting thing about this matchup is this archer that you normally need to do everything possible to keep it safe. Nah, just send it forward. You don't have a starting warrior to worry about.
Yeah. Can do whatever.
So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start moving our units forward. Of course, we have our defender heading straight for the center of the map, immediately finding our water coastline, so on, so forth. What I am loving here is this little river canal we have for Hudrick. So if we have another village here in the western side, we've actually got an interesting bit of water access to protect our front city. With that Explorer that we already have, we're going to go ahead and turn off the shared vision, get our first Explorer for Quetzali, heading to the north, getting ourselves that lighthouse, working our way around, finding that, you know what? I forgot this little peninsula right over there, and it was nothing.
Yeah.
How unfortunate. But what I am seeing here is something that I am loving as Quetzali. Time. I have all the time in the world. Hudrick not visible on the map, and oddly enough, I would definitely say Quetzali has a much stronger early game economy. What are you looking for in this trade right over here?
Yeah, I mean, Hudrick has better resources generally. A really focused economy on just working with those forests, but Quetzali in this case, you can go forestry, you can go mining, you can do anything.
Yeah, they got mining from Ruin. Very fortunate for them.
Immediately gets a giant on turn 7. We already have placed the Park of Fortune on our back city, which is always better. It's nicer to have the back cities leveled up in case you're stuck in a
Star Ruin.
Gonna get ourselves that Explorer in case we lose it. Oh, that is not what you want to see. A giant already at your doorstep, so you either got to rush a giant or prepare to get rid of that village. And that Explorer does exactly what it needed to do, unlike half the ones we've seen today, picking up 2 lighthouses, allowing ourselves to get a border growth giant from our capital. Look at that beautiful water access from T-Tat over here, realizing what's really about to be going on in this game.
Yeah, and Hudrick decides to keep this city and get a giant there.
Saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to be losing this. Catapult immediately raining down terror, starting to weaken that giant, already down to 17 HP. Throwing the giant in, trying to weaken it as much as possible, starting to send the archers forward. Unfortunately, there's not going to be anything else to do. Oh, that was a misplay. The catapult heading over here needed to be able to land 1 tile over, but it looks like it works out perfectly fine. The Nanobot is going to be able to secure the... I have lied! The rider zips on forward, securing the village for one more turn. Such an amazing play from T-Tat.
Securing it for another turn.
Not once, not twice.
But twice.
Probably just twice. Yeah, that's a giant.
Here we go with trade.
Immediately realizing that this game is not going to be short, because look at this. We have roads right over here. Border growth, in order to protect it, there is no possible way that Quetzali is going to be able to access it through the eastern side, meaning T-Tats already understands that at this point, all they need to focus on is a defensive line, perhaps getting a catapult here, boom, making sure nothing goes over here on the east. You know what that means? Everything else can go straight onto the water. That means they only need to focus the resources in one direction, economy and a navy. And that is exactly what I'm expecting T-Tat to be doing right over here. Oddly enough, this catapult is moving forward, saying, hey, you know what? You're not going to be breaking through anyways. We got our giants here. This catapult is going to be preventing enemy units all the way to this tile over here. But that should be more than enough. It also does leave open the opportunity of sneaking that giant forward if he's feeling greedy enough. And looky there. 2 units already on the water, rushing a giant, pushing that catapult off. So that catapult is able to secure all this space. Unfortunately, he just needs that vision. Are you going to be getting a scout? Oh!
Get sniped.
The first bit of damage going to Quetzali, the rammer coming into play. Oh, everything is screaming, moves that Juggernaut forward. Luckily, Nanobot is a smarter player than I. Not going to be sacrificing a Juggernaut just to kill 1 HP catapult, securing the village here in the north. Look at that.
Aquatism.
Both players already have markets. At this point, it is currently a 4 or 5 city game. 5-5. At this
really
point, it's
equal game.
Yeah, both have aquatism.
3 units every single turn jumping onto the water. This catapult. Oh, we have a bridge!
You know, I hate bridges, but this one is really nice.
Bridge is so good. If we can also get a road here, everything on these tiles over here has absolutely no business of being there. 2 units at 1 HP. In fact, he's not even going to secure the kills right over there. Why do you need to? Those units can't perform their required duties anyways. Boom! Gets onto the mountain, starts heading on south. Is he going to be able to get that last bit of vision? It's so close.
Vision, yes, but lighthouse, no.
Nope.
It's going to be getting that border growth. Look at all this territory that his units can now heal in if required. Gets another giant, able to throw another one onto the water. Aquatism from both players. Both players are fully invested into the naval gameplay. We have our fort right over here. Safe rammers. We've got a catapult starting to heal up archers in order to get 3 snipes off the opponent. And at this point, Nanobot is doing everything he can, getting another giant. Upgrades to a rammer. Buff. Start weakening every single one of them down as much as possible. But look at this free real estate right over here. Juggernaut ready to move forward and splash down all of these units. At this point, if you're from Nanobot's point of view, you're losing this presence on the water. What do you need to do in order to come back from this?
Make more units.
Make more units.
Always make more units.
Always make more units. Got it. So, we've actually got a couple of catapults ready to start forming defensive walls over here. We need them to start applying additional safety and protection onto the water right over here. The first cloak, not from Quetzali.
Weirdly
But
enough,
coming from Hudrick,
Yeah, Titat showed this strategy against Meister Lumpa in their first game. So yeah, there will be a lot of cloaks.
cloaks
of
and
course,
bombers.
Bomber.
Deadly
This point-
combination.
we're going to be needing some more units, such as a knight. If we could potentially sneak a knight around to the east, I'm not seeing how it's currently possible. And look at this. T-Tats has a random warrior here. It's actually not to apply pressure. It is specifically to prevent just that. If a knight gets trained here in the northern city, it can no longer wrap all the way around. That warrior has to be cleaned out first. So that warrior is doing exactly what it needs to do. In the meantime, we have bombers able to start providing a whole bunch of siege onto the water because T-Tat, again, recognizes the wind condition, preventing all land access. You can't access it from here. You can't access it from the north. At this point, I'm investing everything and killing out all of the units into the water. T-Tat understands the exact gameplay. It's not about winning the battles, it's about winning the war. Nanobot still throwing more units onto the water. Unfortunately, there are no catapults in order to supply that additional protection. We have one right over here, but look at this wall of catapults. Because of all these units, weak HP unit, weak HP unit, weak HP unit, all T-Tat's going to be needing is one lucky knight. If we could train one here from the capital, then the eastern city at any point can fall.
In fact, that southern city, if he trains a knight there, this entire backline of catapults is not safe anymore.
Yeah, and we see the first knight from Nanobot.
Nanobot's picking up the first knight. Very interesting at this point. So I am fully expecting drawbridge. We got to get rid of that. Unfortunately, that does encourage T-Tats for picking up chivalry here.
But he
But
doesn't.
it doesn't happen. So where's the knight going to be going? Oddly enough, Nanobot is slowly pushing back onto the water. Look at this beautiful line. We've got our own bomber, potentially more in order to apply extra defense. We have an extra juggernaut. The bomber is gone. One after the other.
And now we're
We now
cloaking under the city as well.
Yeah. There is a
cloaks
cloak chain in the north.
This catapult is preventing any units going from all the way over here. So this is actually working. It's mind games.
Spiritualism. But remember when Hudrick takes that city in the south, he didn't go for a border growth. No, he wanted that population growth. So now there's a gap in the lines in order to get through that with a knight.
That giant needed to become a juggernaut, but he had no way of knowing. And at this point, T-Tat is now moving his navy forward. That's one, that's two, that's a third bomber. The juggernaut starting to clean up. A big fight for the water, but we still have two fully healthy bombers ready to clean up. That's one, that's two, that's a cloak.
Goodbye backline.
Yeah.
And there's no knights. There is actually one. We have one knight ready to try to clean up. But at this point, these bombers are too far out of place. We could potentially knock down these two. But they want to be focusing on the water. Nanobot realizing he has to get that giant onto the water. So there it goes. Splashing right on down. Unfortunately, not finding any form of cloaks. It needed to go into this tile right over here. And with that, it's moving forward. That's one cloak. He's got two more lined up. Moving forward to the northern city. More units onto the water. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain.
Yo.
Goodbye backline once
that
again.
That line is completely gone. And with that, Nanobot is completely out of units, and that is the game. Despite This one cloak I was desperately keeping my eye on, unfortunately, was unable to make its way to its final destination. What an amazing back and forth game. T-Tat played that beautifully all the way from start to finish. Just look at the vision.
Yep.
Well.
Mm-hmm.
So immediately able to secure and defend this first village, and realizing right over here, once again, this is the only way that Quetzali is getting in. That or this river. How do you prevent both? Border growth. So what do we end up doing right over here on turn 13, 14, 15, 14? Boom, border growth. That is protecting everything about the eastern side of the map. Sometimes the best offense is an even better defense. So at this point, Quetzali has no way of pushing in on the east. At this point, what's the immediate next thing that T-Tat ends up doing? Look at that. 1, 2 ports onto the water. Realizing that water is so important, expanding the capital just so that way we have even safer ways of getting onto the water, or an even faster one if he's trying to play aggressive. And at this point, realizes there is one more city here in the north, and unfortunately, a border growth won't be doing anything all the way over here. So what does he end up doing? Boom, plants a unit. Just a raft, 5 HP, has absolutely no reason of doing anything except running back and healing. But what does he do instead? Moves it forward, recognizing that at this point, he's going to have to force his opponent to use resources to kill this warrior. What does this warrior do? Standing guard, preventing the one and only way on land. Meaning that while Quetzali's having to invest resources in defending this wide open territory over here in order to defend the land all the way over here and for the water, T-Tat is signing everything and saving up resources to secure the game.
Yeah,
Was
Tito
there
did
any-
a great
yeah.
job at just securing his flanks and finding the way for himself to get through the other case, the flank of Quetzali here.
Was there anything that Quetzali could have done to actually reveal that village in the south? Because this was kind of a thing that slowed them down at the beginning. They had to invest 2 giants, I think, to get this city from Fudrick.
Blueberry.
I don't see a good way. It was really just a gamble if there would be a village at all. But at this turn 5 here, you might see that fish and that fruit, and you might think, you know what, maybe I can go riders. But what are you going to do with riders with a game that is going to be such focused on water?
So at this point, I do kind of agree with Blueberry. There's not really anything that could have been done ever. The real question is could Quetzali have done anything? Could Quetzali have done anything in order to secure taking this village back a little bit earlier? Because we have multiple turns. We have our first siege over here. So we have one. We have our catapult. So at this point, is there anything we're able to do in order to prevent the siege from happening? And unfortunately, I mean, if we're just looking at this, I would still be arguing, no, there's not really much that can be done to prevent this from being unsieged. From the looks of it, we're even telling our opponent, you have to pick up riding in order to unsiege this. So this is still the correct play. And unfortunately, the opponent goes, yeah, it's worth it. It just rides right on forward, right over here. So the last one is 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, there's just no way to deal with this rider. So there wasn't a way to secure this village a turn sooner. Everything that ended up happening happen the way that it should have this game. What I do love is the fact about placing the units on all these tiles, because oddly enough, this is very important for a potential monument play, because at this point, we don't know if there's going to be, because if our opponent has a monument and is able to just go, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then a monument to get the extra level up, I think Quetzalcoatl would have been slowed down too much. So nothing was done wrong here.
But one more question: what do you think about this siege with the giant instead of a rider? I think they could have sieged with a rider instead of going for the giant.
So, if we're talking about on this turn right over here, yeah, probably could have. And then start moving the giant over. Yeah, that may be the only thing they could have done differently. It does slow down that giant by 2 turns getting onto the water, so I guess that does make a difference. But it's really, really tricky. I think the bigger question is what could we have done to secure the naval in order to secure the navy? And even then, I'm not seeing much except for needing catapults lined up here to support our navy. We were spending too much on a navy and throwing away all those units. I would have loved to have seen a catapult right here. Heck, maybe even right over here. Maybe another catapult right back here. Just so that way, if our opponent tries to zip forward with a scout, because look at these catapults right over here. They're exposed. So even though the idea is for them to defend our units, they're too exposed. They now have to take turns to heal. But they can still just get sniped by something on a later turn, such as 2 players all the way over here in the south. So, other than trying to support the navy a little bit better with catapults, there's not really much that can be done.
Because it's quite an even game as it comes to a number of cities, so it's 5 against 5.
Yep.
So nobody can complain that it's there is like a city advantage to one of the players.
Yep.
Nobody's getting laked.
Yep. Yeah, so a good intense game. I guess a big surprise that Hudrick got cloaks instead of Hudrick. Instead of Quetzali. So yeah, very, very unusual situation. Yeah, so Hudrick was a bit had an advantage with his bridge in the south. So not only the giants could block access to their capital. No, it's not a capital. It's the southern city, but Hudrick could also get this really nice drawbridge and attack with almost with impunity. So yeah, Quetzali did not have this this advantage.
Yep. So where did how did T-Tat perform when it came to their standings in the face-off?
Yeah, let's look at their path. So again, we already talked about it. They beat Meisterlamp in the first round. Then they had a rough encounter with Barter, and they lost 0-2. But in the final rounds, they beat Quetzali 2-0, and they qualified as the 5th tribe. So yeah. So good games, and we are happy that T-Tat qualified. He's kind of one of the 2 dark horses in this setup, I think. So I don't think anyone bets that Titat will go that high. Yeah. So I'll be keeping my fingers crossed for him to to maybe even become the champion.
Oh. I don't know. He's been playing very, very well. So even though he's playing a tribe that doesn't have a strong economic or strong military start, I'm actually expecting great things out of him. So.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so let's move on to the last game.
This is going to be our final game for the face-off qualifiers to be showing off our barter player, who is Slimming Boy, going to be playing against Crux to School, playing as our bony cultists of Venger. Such an awesome skin to be playing with. So Barter is a turn 0 tribe, and of course Venger starting off with Swordsman. So as long as our Venger player starts off in a quadrant adjacent to our barter player, or as long as they're not completely surrounded by water, should be a very exciting matchup.
Uh-oh.
Alrighty, so...
You took the gamble and you lost.
Unfortunately, Venger is on the complete opposite quadrant, completely surrounded by water. But Venger's probably weakest possible setup on this lake's map. So even though Venger has so much potential, mining potential here in their mountains, they don't have an appropriate place in order to place a forge. So it's going to be a real big uphill battle from Venger. Hopefully they can get an early snipe on one of Barter's early cities. What are you looking for in this match as Barter?
As Barter, just make sure that you don't get sniped, and then you should be fine.
So are you recommending we start off by going on the outside against the Venger player, or just go center and pray?
Well, following the same logic that we applied to the other game, 2/3 chance of being close to your opponent, you might want to not opt for the center, but still, if you can't take the center, will you be winning?
Sometimes yes. Let's find out. Immediately heads towards the center, getting ourselves a workshop, now having a much stronger economic advantage. And look at this. We're going to be going with a big potential snipe. Both the warrior and the swordsman heading straight for the center, and then they split off to pick up the ruin and the village. Hopefully we'll be able to find something else. Our first explorer turning off shared fog, able to find the Venger player, seeing his capital, seeing his first village. He's on a ruin. That's not what we want to see, and unfortunately...
Oh, a star ruin.
Lighthouse.
Might get interesting for Venger here. Even
Star
that
ruin
rider,
lighting, and immediately...
that rider gets bonked by that tree there.
Are we going to be seeing an early roads rush forward? Turns out the answer is no.
Nope. Instead, we will be seeing a dance around that city there.
Bob, look at this. This is very important. Weakening all of the units. This swordsman is no longer able to capture the village safely at this point. So, whoops. So at this point, the first swordsman has been rushed away, and this rider is going to be securing
another star ruin.
Venger, despite that start, is able to start making a comeback thanks to all these star ruins, getting a very good city off in the southern corner of the map. The explorer just barely skips the first lighthouse, but is able to pick up the second, getting ourselves the giants in the capital. Excellent, which it was required.
Yeah, to unsiege.
In order to unsiege. A big gambling play. If they were completely blocked off by mountains on both ways, I don't think you would have been able to unsiege there.
Border growth.
getting tired of those riders. Again, look at this, a natural formation. We have forests here. We have a potential bridge. This border growth is a very important defensive play. At this point, Venger's now going to have to hard push through the center with swordsmen or potentially just get onto the water, which they already have access on. But look at this, even more interesting. Right over here on the western side of the map, we have a warrior now heading its way over to the village here at 12 o'clock. Both players are starting to get their things set up economically, and the first juggernaut is on the water. Another border growth, this time coming from Venger on the east, just to pick up more territory, realizing that this game's going to be going on for a long time. And thanks to the fact that we already have riders, we're already really close to having roads. We have forges. We have sawmills. We have catapults. This catapult is deciding that at this point, I'm just going to play defensive, get ourselves that explorer, pick it up from the north. Is he going to be able to make it? Heading to the east, get ourselves the Eye of God. Oh! One tile off. Unfortunately, is not able to make it. Having to use the Park of Fortune on the capital in order to get our giant. That actually is not a good place. We should have been placing that Park of Fortune over here on the east, because now we have even less water access.
Yeah.
We also saw a counter to the star runes from Wenger here with a star rune for barter.
Oh, a beautiful giant push,
Beautiful
bringing the
snipe.
catapults forward. Sure, it's going to be able to trade, but this giant over here is going to start applying pressure. In this moment, Barter is now setting up defensively here into the center of the map, realizing that there's only one water access over here going onto the center of the water. And now the only way for this village over here to be lost is this would have to be trained as a scout, and it doesn't. Were the stars there? Hold on, let's take a look. Oh, the stars were possible. Unfortunately, invests in walls for the western city, and at this point is give up that village on the eastern side, and at this point that eastern lake is completely given up to the opponent.
Completely infested with barter units.
I don't know if they were able to watch the other players' games, but at this point all this village needs to do is a border growth, pick up this tile right here, and then the eastern side is completely blocked off, and we're running out of ways for Wenger to even initiate any form of attack. Trying to get ramming, trying to get those units onto the water. We have a line of catapults over here playing defense just for that one singular port. Not really realizing how important the water play is going to be. And at this point, the first bomber is now in play. The second bomber is now in play. Immediately applying pressure onto the capital. We have the juggernaut. At this point, the capital is about to be sieged. What are we looking for in order to protect ourselves in Venger's eyes?
A miracle.
Yeah. Let's pray. Let's pray.
Oh,
Somehow find another star ruin or something, but I'm not seeing any ruins anymore.
The Juggernaut lands, reducing all the cats to 1 HP. This point, able to secure them off, getting ourselves a swordsman. But the capital is in complete dire situation. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3 bombers, all which are preventing this capital from building up any form of defense at this point. In the midst of the capital,
does this look playable to you?
It does not, but I'm assuming that he's realizing that if he's out of this might have been the last game, and if he's out of this, then he's completely out of the tournament. He's going to fight with every inch that he's got left, and I admire that. At this point, we've got swordsmen, we've got our catapults, excellent units in order to apply defense. I'm expecting another swordsman. Look at that beautiful line. The issue is
yeah, but they're on the defense, so like
Finger on the defense is not a good combination.
Yeah.
Never a good
There's
combination.
no
right
comeback.
That's another siege. How are we unsieging this one over here? It looks like we have our catapult, but unfortunately, just this naval presence right here is preventing all of it. There's the border growth. There's no longer any way for Venger to apply any form of offense. Bop-a-da-bop, that's one. Bop-a-da-bop, that's two. Bop-a-da-bop, that's three. Roading.
No
Anything
siege.
else forward would be enough. Unfortunately, just not enough for a siege. And at this point, I think he realizes that the game is definitely over. They're just playing it out, probably as a last.
Hoping to still find Finger in the
Maybe
finals.
the opponent will disconnect for 5 minutes.
Yep.
Look at this wall of bombers saying you're not allowed to train any units absolutely anywhere. Riders sneaking on in. And in fact, is going to force the opponent to capture. And that is the end of the game.
You know what? Maybe they'll misclick.
Maybe they'll misclick and click resign. Alrighty. So I think the biggest thing is I pointed out right from the very beginning of this was an insanely rough map for Venger. Venger needs no water next to their capital. They need to make sure they have a forge. And unfortunately,
Yeah, they couldn't place it. They are not Aquarian.
yeah, everything is not looking favorable for them. So this map was really rough. But I don't believe in no-win scenarios. So what could Vinegar have done differently here?
Get 2 star ruins and still not win. I mean, if you take a look at this, are riders even the right play here?
We're investing a lot into riders, but the riders aren't doing much.
So would you be able to go into a very, very economic game plan here with all of these stars that you're getting from that star ruin? Maybe.
I would have loved to have seen a more aggressive play with roads, potentially. Try to snipe a free city with our rider while our swordsman was healthy, but the timing of everything just didn't work out. So let's look at when we get our first rider. Boom, rider number 1. So we're not going to be training, or we're not going to be picking up roads here. So let's look at turn 5. Turn 5, we have
11 stars.
We have our 11 stars. It's enough to pick up roads and get a road. But I think what should have been done on the last turn, because look at this. If we just had one more piece of movement, just one more. Because do we already have climbing? We don't. Well, so, but it could still work out here. If we completely invested in this play, right over here, no riders. So on this turn, we have 14 stars. So 8 brings us down to 6.
Yep.
If we end up placing a road here and here, this rider is actually able to run forward, bop-a-da-bop, and then get a little bit of extra vision, boom, secure the siege. So here's the question. What does our opponent do? Because at this point, you're investing, saying, I know I have a bad start, so I'm going to play aggressively here. What does our opponent do? Nothing.
Yeah, they have 1 warrior, so they definitely wouldn't be able to unsiege.
I wish in this situation, Venger had recognized that they needed to play aggressively, and this exact setup, minus that 1 extra rider, they would have had just enough to secure an early game village off the opponent. And then at this point, really, they probably would have been able to steal a win. Just get roads, get riders, zip on forward, get swordsmen in this front village over here, and boom.
Yeah, because then Barter does not have an easy way to get a giant, right? So
Yeah.
probably this would have been a similar situation as in this game IMO versus Imperius. So obviously not a 1-to-1 setup, but Arthur went for an aggressive play, and Crux decided kind of that he wants to expand to the south. So he did not recognize this opportunity. Absolutely.
Of course, this is hindsight as 2020.
Yeah, but he played very quite fast, so I think he had enough time to kind of, because this this is like very, very fast play.
Blueberry, did you see anything that you would have recommended being done differently other than just going full out in the offense? Do you see any other things, maybe somewhere else, that you would have recommended have been done differently?
Well, my game plan with Wenger is far more economic than this. So, especially with that Star Ruin and finding out that there's a bunch of forests in the way, I wouldn't even go with riders, to be honest. I would just pick up forestry and try to find out another way.
Forestry definitely would have been a good way to help him bolster that economy, because we already have our smithery. There's nothing else we need to do when it comes to that. But yeah, improving our economy as much as possible. And lastly, just considering getting on the water, which is unfortunately Venger's weakness, because they don't have a strong economy.
And they don't have fish.
They don't have fish.
Yeah, but there was one other mistake that you pointed out. So the poor monument placement. So Wenger actually blocked their.
They blocked their water access, so they were stuck to literally one unit.
Maybe it wasn't like something that prevented them from winning, but it could have mattered if they did something to actually push back against Barter in this southeastern lake.
Yeah, the monument just needed to go over here into the west, so we had two ways to get more units onto the water. But at this point, we have
Did Barter get a veteran swordsman from this ruin in the northwest?
Mostly the fact that there's it's mostly the fact that there's a they did get the veteran swordsman. It's mostly the fact that there's a mountain there, so there's no way to attack in the northwest side of the map. So at this point, literally the only way forward is roading units through over to here and using this mountain with riders to attack. But unfortunately, there's just too much pressure already here. That or getting onto the water, and Wenger had blocked their water access to one unit a turn. So this is definitely one of those situations. Wenger should have recognized a chance for them to have an unstoppable siege on turn 5 with their swordsmen. And since they already went with riders to go all in on aggression, instead of going the more economic path that Blueberry is recommending.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, once you gamble, you have to go all in, or you just lose.
Yeah, and city-wise, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And
so it was 5 to 6. But because of the veteran swordsman, and then Barter had absolute water or naval superiority in both lakes, that mattered. Unfortunately, there just wasn't anything that to be done here on this city, and ends up becoming a 4 to 7 city game.
Yeah, so apparently Wenger had their chances, but they kind of did not see it or made wrong decisions.
Yep.
I think that's...
I will be fully fair. They were playing they're playing a very difficult tribe to play. So
their capital was placed in a very bad spot. So. we have to recognize that.
Definitely.
Because with the Forge there, it would have been an easy giant probably, and then
Absolutely, definitely.
they would have more to play with.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go and check how Slaming Boy qualified to the final. So in the first round, they beat Crux. So this one of the games we saw just a moment ago. And in round 2, they beat Hoodrick, so T-Tat, and they qualified. So they were the second to qualify after Chinchi. Yeah. So congrats, Slimming Boy. So he's this other player that I was talking about. They are not very well known in the community, but they managed to be really, really good players on their way to this face-off and to the final. So we are also hoping they will perform well in the final in Stockholm. So again, remember about the tickets. They are still available. Link is in the comments and in the description. So go ahead and grab them if you want to see all those great players in Stockholm. Maybe even meet Mijuan, the god of Polytopia, and Zoethres, the prophet. So a lot of very important people in the world of Polytopia will be there. So don't miss out this opportunity. Okay, I think this wraps up this live stream. Thank you guys for your comments. It was, as always, great to talk to you and learn what's your thoughts. I can't say hope to see you in Stockholm because I don't think you're coming, but yeah, maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe.
Yeah. So again, thank you everyone for watching. We'll be streaming the final on Saturday. The live stream should be available in a few days. So stay tuned and watch the whole final. It will be here on our channel on YouTube. It will be also on Twitch and maybe in a few other places. Maybe Tolbby will be, if he gets up early, he'll be commenting. Let's see. Okay, so see you in Stockholm. Take care, everyone, and good luck. See you on the next one. Bye.
See you all next time.